President Xi not only faces a political challenge from inside China, but outside as well. He's become more assertive in his foreign policy as he tries to restore China as a preeminent power in Asia. But that's put many of his neighbors on the defensive. Now we're heading out to 8003.
CSB 8003 is a 1,600-ton vessel ordered by the Vietnamese authorities to patrol one of the most dangerous flashpoints in Asia today, waters claimed by both Vietnam and China in the South China Sea. As part of Hanoi's public relations war against Beijing, the Vietnamese government organized a trip over the summer to take us and other journalists to the heart of the conflict, the remote Paracel Islands, where China had parked an oil rig, sparking a tense standoff between the two Asian neighbors. Once on board, I met the crew led by Captain Hung Win Van. Every day, Captain Hung and his crew would attempt to get their vessel close to the rig and warn the Chinese to stop their drilling.
So these are all the Chinese ships. This is the oil rig. And this is our ship now.
This is platform of China. And around is China's ship.
Here I was told the Chinese ships outmanned Vietnam's 110-5, though Captain Hung wasn't deterred from defending what he sees as his country's territory, despite the odds for his 30-man crew.
The rig is clearly inside Vietnam's waters, Vietnam's exclusive economic zone, and Vietnam's continental shelf.
The order came in. It was time to head out to the rig. With so many ships, it was difficult to know what to expect. The lookout scoured the horizon for Chinese vessels.
So after hours of waiting, we're finally getting a closer look at the Chinese oil rig. It's right over there.
The HD 981 oil drilling platform was a football field long and 40 stories high, and is said to be worth $1 billion, according to the Chinese oil company that owns it, CNOOC.
At this moment, there are 8 Chinese Coast Guard ships approaching to stop this boat.
We were 8 nautical miles, 15 kilometers from the rig, when this Chinese Coast Guard vessel blocked our path. Another charged towards us.
Attention! Attention! This is Vietnam Sea Patrol Force.
The broadcast seeming to have the opposite effect of its intention, making the Vietnamese a target rather than scaring away the Chinese. On the horizon, we saw Chinese reinforcements moving in. We soon found ourselves surrounded and were forced to fall back.
Cease immediately all your activities and leave Vietnamese waters. Attention! Attention!
The next day, our vessel headed back to the rig.
We've only been here for a couple of minutes, but already one of the Chinese ships has come to chase us.
Out of nowhere, a Chinese Coast Guard boat came hurtling towards us. The Vietnamese counted it was one of 9 Chinese ships suddenly on our tail. It was agile and moving fast, ready to collide at any moment. It got about 100 meters behind us before drifting back the further we sped away. A boat of our size can weather this attention. Not so for Vietnam's smaller fishing surveillance ships. These ships, I'm told, are particularly vulnerable to ramming and water cannons, action feared on both sides. Colonel Tran Van Hao told me in June he witnessed an attack by the Chinese on a different ship, which the crew recorded.
One Chinese ship accelerated with a very high speed and hit the right side of the back of the boat directly. Then it sped up again and rammed our boat, leaving 4 holes. The other 2 Chinese ships used their water cannons to fire against us. If seawater gets into the ship, it will damage the communication systems, and the pressure from the water could break the window.
The Chinese say that the Vietnamese are the ones who are ramming their boats. What do you have to say about that?
How can we hit their ships? The Chinese side distorts the story.
Why do you think the Chinese would want to distort the story?
In my opinion, because China wants to dominate all the waters and islands of our country, every Vietnamese, including me, is willing to sacrifice to defend Vietnam.
China eventually moved the rig, saying the oil company finished its operation. But the tensions linger on.